What's up, everybody? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Your Miami Heat victorious tonight over the Detroit Pistons, 118-110, fending off the dreadful Pistons, who dropped to 9-52 on the season. So, look, nothing to write home about today. This was a classic TCB game for your Miami. You got to take care of business. You take the win, and you advance. Miami, I believe, gets to a season-high 9 over 500 for the first time this season. Big-time buckets from Jimmy Buckets late in this one. In fact, it was an interesting fourth quarter because Miami ended up taking a lot of threes in the fourth quarter. Started the fourth quarter 0 for 8 from downtown. And, they were getting some good looks. It wasn't probably everything outside of the Thomas Bryant shooting the three. I think a lot of those you felt good about. They just couldn't get any of them to drop, and it made this a very, very dicey fourth quarter for Miami. But you hand it over, you hand the reins over. Scary Terry Rozier really breaks up a big-time slump for Miami. They had gone a long time without a fourth quarter field goal. He gets to the rim. He puts the Miami Heat up 3. Heat get the ball back, and you get a huge kick from Terry to Duncan Robinson for their first 3 of the fourth quarter. Puts Miami up 6. Pistons want to go away. Fontecchio, who was really, really good today, he was hitting a lot of shots from downtown. Jimmy was looking for that mismatch anytime that he could get it on his end of the court, but he had the green light, and he was hitting some big-time shots. And 5 of 12 for downtown today for Fontecchio, who finished with 22 points for the Pistons, who just were a thorn in the Heat's side. That being said, Jimmy Buckets would come down and he would get yourself a big-time bucket in the paint, and then just for good measure to really stick the dagger in the Detroit Pistons for 15 straight games, Jimmy Butler would finish this one. He would end up pulling up for a 3-ball, puts Miami up 8, and that was all she wrote. He'd go to the line one more time to put it completely out of reach for Miami. But Jimmy Butler continues his streaking with the three-point shot and finishes this game with 26 points, 7 of 13 from the floor today, 11 of 12 from the free throw line for Jimmy, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and of course finishes 1 for 3 from downtown in a game that was, look, I thought Miami in this one, they never felt like they, outside of like the first scramble of this game, never felt like this was going to be a game where they were going to have a lot of issues. Pistons made a little bit of a push there to start the second half of this game and got on a nice run. But that was really swung in a big way by Bam Adebayo. Bam had a really, really bad first half. You had quiet first halves from both Jimmy and Bam. Jimmy from the standpoint of he only took 3 shots, and Bam from the standpoint of he started 3 for 10. And then you got to that third quarter, and it was really Bam who had anchored Miami's defense. He was hitting some big-time shots. Once he saw a couple of them drop close, then he was getting to the old turnaround shot. He was getting to his sweet spots. He was feeling it. Let me see. What were his numbers in that third quarter? Bam, in that third quarter, 5 of 6, 11 points. Really carried Miami there. And you got some big-time three-point shots from Terry Rozier tonight, who also got off to a little bit of a sluggish start in this game, as much of this Miami Heat roster did. But in that third quarter, had it feeling it from downtown. The step-back 3, the comfort in the shot making. Scary Terry had all that stuff. So he finished with 17 tonight. Each one of his baskets pretty big. You can remember all the big ones. And they needed it. They needed it. Duncan Robinson, I would say, he was the catalyst in the first quarter for Miami offensively. Outside of that big-time 3 that he hit late, Duncan Robinson was a pure menace early on in this game. The dude was blocking shots. He was not settling for three-point shots. He once again goes into his bag where it's like a hesitation, dribbles behind the back, puts the moves on. I think it was Thompson on the Pistons. Just complete like shake and bake. And Duncan Robinson, dude, this guy's got one of the deepest bags in the league this year. It's crazy what he's able to go do and how he's developed that part of his game. But it's not even just like, oh, Duncan Robinson, he too much of an aggressive closeout, and he really burned that chap. No, this dude is like, he's pulling out some fancy stuff for the Miami Heat. So very, very impressive game from Duncan Robinson, especially in the first half, but of course hits that clutch bucket late. Miami closed this game with Jimmy Bam, Duncan, Terry Rozier, Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin gutting through it. I mean, I think he slowed up a little bit in the second half. Probably had something to do with him tweaking his ankle. Because in the first half, once again, just incredible. He has confidence in that three-point shot, but when he has to turn on the juice to become aggressive, he's so good at that. And then what a hound he can be on defense. But at one point in the first half, he goes, and this dude, he can't get no luck. He steps back and clips one of the camera guys and tweaks his ankle. So they brought him in late, and he finishes the game. But it was definitely not the explosiveness. You did not have all of that from Caleb Martin to this point. He did not have that in his arsenal. So, nonetheless, Miami was able to pull this one out. Looking at the Eastern Conference, let's see if everything is shaken out. I think everything is done for the night now in the East. You still have the Pacers playing, but the Magic win. The Celtics lost to the Cavaliers. The Nets beat the 76ers, and the Hawks beat the Knicks. So, a lot of good news on Miami's front. If you go and look at the standings right now, Miami currently sits 6th, same record as the 76ers, just a half game behind the New York Knicks, just a half game behind the Orlando Magic, who are currently 4th in the Eastern Conference. So, look, Miami's played tremendous. They continue to move up this thing. This is, their goal, I think, is to finish out of that play-in. But most of all, I think that they would love it if they could, end this with a home court advantage series for sure. Even though that is not something they necessarily need, it's a nice luxury to have, and I think Miami definitely would love something like that in the first round of the playoffs. Even if that does send up a second round series with the Boston Celtics, I know Miami doesn't give a rat's ass about that. So it was very impressive. I think the other thing of note today that we should probably hop on was just the referees did my boy dirty. Jović, dude. So I didn't see his first tech. Apparently, I saw Solana, my guy who does Heat pre and post. He had tweeted that, because I got to be honest with you, I had 2-screen action tonight. I was supposed to be boots on the ground. Was not able to go last minute to the game. So I'm watching the living room. I have Panthers and Heat, and I'm ping-ponging, dude. I'm going pew, 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 because the Panthers are just unstoppable right now. But it was a good back and forth contest. Second night of a back-to-back for the Cats, so you'll wonder what their energy is going to be like. So a lot of my focus was on them, and then we're kind of swinging back to the Heat. But Jović, I guess, I think he got a technical for throwing the basketball at the basket, and they gave him a foul. So he has already a tech in hand. So I didn't see that one, but he already had a tech in hand. Let me see. Yeah. Solana's first technical was a joke. Threw the ball at the backstop at the end of the quarter. But it wasn't out of frustration. Just did it after the play ended. So they technical. I don't know if it was a delay of game. Sometimes if you have multiple delay of games, they tee up, they'll warn you, then they'll tech you. But anyway, he had already had a tech in hand. So Isaiah Stewart, who, listen, don't cross Isaiah Stewart. He'll punch you right in the face, literally. There's not many of those guys who actually are about that action in this league. Isaiah Stewart, we've seen him run after LeBron. He's popped Drew Eubanks right in the snot box. But that being and he's a moose. I mean, he is a behemoth that, though Jović has put on some weight, he was not happy that he was called for a foul on what he thought was marginal contact. But he he showed up the ref. It was very obviously a technical foul. and he just doesn't have, I think, the cachet to stand up. And if that was Jimmy that happened to, maybe the official, with Jimmy already having a tech, maybe the officials let it go. But this is a second year player, and he was very. I loved it though. I love the fact that Nikola Jović plays with such an edge. I love the fact that he is the baby of the team, but he has, in the last week has been suspended. He has been ejected. He's an absolute. He's a menace. This guy, you got to put him in a straitjacket. He's a rabid dog out there. I love the fact that Jović is playing with his edge to him. And by the way, just continues. I love him in that power forward spot. He had some really nice plays where, he got this beautiful 3-ball setup to Jović, to Terry Rozier, where Terry Rozier, he set up for the 3, but it's like Jović gets the rebound, he gets the team on the run. He's always looking for his teammates. He had a beautiful pass today to Haywood Highsmith. Like, he's always looking to get his teammates involved, and then every now and then he might go and he might go and run towards the rim. He got blocked at one point today, but also he's always willing to be there to hit that 3. Like, he's so perfect in that spot. You don't need to feed him that many shots, but when the ball's in his hands, positive things just seem to happen. And so you got to let some of the rookie stuff play out, but I thought it was hilarious that he was so mad. He rips off the jersey. So I don't know what the post game is. I'm sure that he's going to get some of the business from Jimmy and Spo afterwards with some of the comments. But I was like, wait. First, they're like, oh, yeah, did he just get kicked out? I was like, oh, he's for sure getting a tech. But I didn't know that he already had a tech in hand. So I was very confused watching all of this. But either way, he was good tonight. I loved it. Just a classic take care of business win. Not one I'm going to look too much into, not one I want to dissect too much. Heat, obviously a busy day for them, signing Patty Mills. Still don't know the status really of Tyler Hero in the foot and Kevin Love in the heel when they're going to be all the way back. But what else is of note? Oh, Thomas Bryant played today in the fourth quarter. That's probably something I should mention. Thomas Bryant came in for Bam in the fourth quarter instead of Orlando Robinson, and also, of course, they didn't have Jović to go to. And he did take a 3, but he did have a sick-ass block on Cade Cunningham. Met him at the summit, 2 hands. Triple J ties him up for the jump ball, and then Pistons get the ball back, and Thomas Bryant gets him again on the chase down block. So nice job by Thomas Bryant on the defensive end for Miami. Looked definitely dicier than it probably should have been. They got a little 3-ball happy late. A lot of physical, rugged guys on that Pistons team, even though they stink. Duran did a nice job today. Stewart's a behemoth. Fontecchio hit a bunch of 3s. So, one of those quirky games, but all in all, they got the win. Happy with it. Take it, move on, move up the standings, and let's go off for 2 tough road games against the Dallas Mavericks and Oklahoma City Thunder.